So let me say on the record that I know we need a long-term fix for transportation and for many of the unmet needs. I think the greatest long-term fix is going to be a recharged economy, and we want to continue to work in that direction. We made good progress, but I think that that the question of revenue can't be out of bounds, and we have to have a mature conversation about that. And those of us who want to have that conversation, I think, also must acknowledge the public's, I think, reasonable expectation that they don't want to pay more for the same thing. So, in the question, in the context of fatigue, how do we get service to be better, more comfortable, more reliable? How do we use more technology so people know when the bus is coming, when the next train is, and that sort of thing? And I think that's true throughout government. We have a number of examples of progress along those lines, but there's more we're going to have to deliver and more we're going to have to talk about in order for this conversation really to be mature.
Several things on the economy. Is there anything on the short-term horizon, any investment you see coming in, any fruits of your labors from travel, or that you've heard from business leaders that would indicate that jobs are coming, industry is coming, a new path for the state beyond a service economy, if you will?
Well, the areas where we've been getting the most growth have been in those innovation sectors we've emphasized: life sciences and biotech, clean tech, IT, financial services, and we are making more of the things we invent here in Massachusetts. So precision manufacturing is coming back. So in the life sciences, it's medical devices and pharmaceuticals. In clean tech, we're making blades and solar films and biodiesel and rice around the corner, down the coast. We're making in IT robotics, from bluefin to those little creatures that vacuum bags. There's a funny story about that. I'll tell you sometime also. About a terrible mistake I made, which actually I'm so glad I made it into the press. I can't believe I feel so confessional now.
It's a coffee. We put it in the coffee.
That's true, sir. It's Halloween.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So I'm excited about the precision manufacturing because for a host of reasons. One, I do think it's good for the country for more manufacturing to happen in the United States, and as we in Massachusetts really embrace the idea that it's precision, high-end manufacturing that works here, and quit worrying about how we're going to have the piecework we used to have, but that high-value, high-margin manufacturing makes sense in Massachusetts. Very, very important, in fact, to the skills gap that we address that so that we can enable precision manufacturing to continue. So I don't think we're not just about services and we're not just about PhDs. We're getting results by playing to our sweet spot, which is this concentration of brain power. All the research universities and institutions here, the medical industry being so deep and rich, and the challenge is to spread it out around the Commonwealth. It's another reason why I'm really excited about precision manufacturing, because that's really getting its toehold in central and western Massachusetts. And then the last thing I would say is that the most of the businesses in the Commonwealth, as you know, are small. 85% of them are 50 or fewer. They are startups. The entrepreneurial spirit and the reputation for being a successful startup destination is important to us, and we're winning here. Mass Challenge, for example, is which you know about, is the largest business incubator in the world, and it's been in operation all of 2 years, 3 years, and then their third year. That's really exciting, and that that builds on the sort of buzz among investors and entrepreneurs that come to Massachusetts and try it out here. And one last thing I will say, which is in the kind of connect the dots department. I've met more than one young entrepreneur. One I'm thinking of in particular who came from Florida, who told me that he moved his young family here to start his business even in Cambridge. He was then in Cambridge University because we had English market. And in those early days, he had 2 young kids. He needed to assure that his kids had coverage, and this is where he could be assured of that. So those things do, all of these things, transportation too, they all connect to a robust economic environment.
And as you're tweaking incentives to try to capitalize on the state's sweet spot, this has been going on for a while during your administration. Do you find that there are areas where you were focused on before that maybe are stale now?
There are new areas. I wouldn't say stale. I mean, I would say life sciences has got a rhythm now. The commitment to the life sciences initiative, which is a 10-year commitment, is something the legislature has renewed. And I think, I had a large company from Europe CEO in the office the other day, and they were about to consolidate a couple of European and a number of U.S. Parts of their business in Massachusetts. They have a small presence here now. And the first thing he said is, the commitment to the life sciences is important to us. They don't even need the incentives, the financial and tax incentives and so forth, and probably won't qualify for them. But the prominence we place on the industry is still important. As an environment, creates an environment. We had a 6.7% increase in employment in the clean tech sector last year. That's expected to double this year. It's not a big part of the whole equation, but it's a fast-growing part of the equation. And that same cluster mentality, that same cluster impact as in the life sciences is more and more the case here with clean tech, and that's very exciting. So there's one new thing. I wouldn't say I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's just one new thing that, or I should say, it's not new, but we're placing some greater emphasis. Which turns out to be very, very important, is on regulation. And so we undertook to review all regulations that are 20 years old. 20 years? 12 years. 12 years, I think it's 12 years. And to do that over the course of, that's the place to start, to do that over the course of the next 2 years, we're about, I don't know, you said 40% through. And in that first 40%, they will have finished 1,000, so the 2,000 range, what I'm trying to say, in that category. They will finish 1,000 by the end of this calendar year, and the other 1,000 by June of next year. And the first, I don't know, 400, 600 were done last month. And of those, I think we ended up repealing, is that the right word? Rescinding a lot of them. Mm-hmm. In other cases, and I can get you the details.
Yeah, who knows that?
Yeah, we get you all the data. It's not very glamorous, but the small business community has just been over the moon excited about it. Peter Foreman, I saw at the Route 138 groundbreaking last week, and he said, come down in June and talk about reg reform. I said, who gives a speech about reg reform? He said, that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. We're so excited about it. There are others that have been superseded by federal regulations or state regulations for that matter, or that are just stale. And some of them are just, you used to have to close, if you were a nail salon, and you were transferring your license from one nail salon to another, you had to close while you did that. And a lot of those licenses get transferred because people move. What is the place? if that's gone. There's some great examples. I wish I was clear, but I'll get you to this.
When you mentioned how this isn't that glamorous, one of the incentives that I think that has become a hot button issue is the motion picture.
Yeah, oh yeah, the film festival.
Are they stale? Are you happy with the way they're working?
You know, I'm happy. I know that doesn't sound very enthusiastic. I am very enthusiastic about it. The film industry has come on strong as a result of the credits. I had some initial misgivings about how the credits are used, and so proposed in the budget 2 cycles ago to cap it, because I wasn't sure we could afford it.
Yeah, and even today we hear stories about the way they're being traded.
Yeah.
That make it sound like they're not working the way that they were envisioned.
Well, there is a move underway, and I'll get you these details. I'm sorry, I'm not aging in this job.
You've been governor forever.
According to your 10-year-old. Some moves are put to limit the ability of these brokers to take these credits and use them as another commodity. But the legislature has shown its enthusiasm for the film tax credit.
You are halfway through what you said in the final term. What do you think your most significant accomplishment has been? And what's number one on your priority list before 2013?
I can answer the second question easier than the first, because I'm not quite ready to take a victory lap. Or people say, "Oh, what's your budget?" That sounds like such an old man kind of question. And I got 2.5 years more left, and I intend to be active in those 2.5 years. I am very excited about. I've talked to you from the beginning about this idea of generational responsibility, that we're supposed to do stuff that leaves the Commonwealth better. Some of the things happening in the public schools are incredible. There's more innovation happening in Massachusetts public schools than any other place in the world. And the more we do to give the space for a great teacher to reach the kids and where they are. The kids we're leaving behind, children who are poor, or who's speaking with something like who are special needs. And I visit a school once or twice a week, usually without a lot of noise, just to check in. I just want to see what's happening, and I see kids. It's just so exciting to see how much experimentation there is, how much stuff is happening around extended school days and experiential learning. A lot of kids learn better by touching and trying things, and the way we're rethinking elements of the MCAS, so we're, in science, for example, teaching the use of concepts, not just the memorization of those concepts. And that stuff is huge, because education is I think, the best dollar the public ever invests on behalf of everybody, and it's a great equalizer. So I'm excited about what's happening in the schools, and I'm going to keep pushing in that direction. Pre-K through higher ed. So that remains a top agenda item. And then what we're doing in terms of helping the Commonwealth transition to this innovation economy and really lead it, I'm very excited about, and I want to continue to push on as well.